the Love Happy Hour podcast.
That was good. Okay. I'm just going to listen to this and chill for a second. Oh my gosh, Love Happy Hour. It's Wednesday.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. First podcast after.
Hoorah.
Yeah. Okay. Ding.
Ding.
Oh, here we go. Okay, good. Do you do that thing where you have to look each other in the eye? Or,
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
like the whole time. Ooh. Yum. I should have.
It's pretty smooth.
It is so smooth. Good. Yours is good too?
Oh, yeah.
I've got tequila. And you have what? Whiskey?
Whiskey, yep. A bourbon whiskey.
Ooh. Okay.
I know, it's pretty smooth, though.
Next time
I
we'll
like
bring
it.
the bottles down and we'll.
Yeah, we'll display the poison.
And share.
Yep.
Okay, it's only poison if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is cool. I'm listening to this song because my kid created this, Jack.
It's actually a pretty good beat.
Thank you.
I make music too, and it's actually pretty good.
This is
It worked out well for intro music, you know?
Yeah. Well, and we just dropped him off. He graduated college, so Lance and I are officially empty nesters.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Are you sad, happy, a little bit of both?
Oh my gosh. We'll turn it down a little bit while I share. It is both. It is. You almost feel selfish to use the term bittersweet because it should just be considered only sweet because overall it is.
Yeah.
Wow, we got our kid to the point of where he's
ready to go.
He's a man. He's in life. He graduated college. He did really well. Super proud of him. And but he was home for 3 weeks, after graduating college, and then we road tripped to Chicago. Got him moved into his apartment. The kid's got a view that's crazy.
Oh, really? Hey, that's nice.
Yeah, he's got it pretty good, and then he just started his new job, and he loves that.
Okay.
So we're way happy,
Yeah.
I should say. But yeah, I love being a mom. So to have all the boys or all the men now out of the house, and it's
How many kids?
Me and my husband just staring at each other,
Was it just boys?
not knowing what to do. You think we would? We got him here.
Yeah.
All boys, yeah, just
Okay,
boys.
how many?
3.
3, okay.
I know. So Mingo is my new producer,
Yep,
and
hello.
so we're literally, hi.
We're still new acquaintances, but
Yeah.
new-ish.
Yeah, and so he's getting to know me, and just as many of you are getting to know me as well if you're not familiar with who I am or what I do. And we'll get there in a second. But so Jack is off and doing great. And
he's the youngest,
so
I
he's
would
the
assume.
youngest out of 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so oldest is Alex, 37. He just got
Okay.
married last fall, so I have a daughter-in-law,
Oh,
Haley.
congratulations.
Yep, and thank you. And then Andrew is just turned 31, and he is actually in matchmaking and dating, advising, and coaching.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he's doing really well. I'm
Wow.
super proud of him. He has the younger folk.
Yeah.
I get all
Yep.
the oldies.
I mean, hey, whatever.
But I'm cool as a coach, apparently.
Yeah.
And then youngest. So it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so wow, this is fun. This is fun to be back. And there were a lot of you who have reached out with really cool, neat support over the last, 6-7 years? I can't even believe it's been how many years since COVID? But this was
I know.
pre-COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But anyway, it's been like 6-7 years of people reaching out and just kind of being like, hey, are you ever going to bring the Love Happy Hour back? And if I responded in the midst of all these other things going on, I said, yeah, that's my heart and my goal. And so here we are. So thanks for hanging in there. The focus of the Love Happy Hour show is to truly not promote alcohol and drinking, but it is to take a second to just chill and relax and to get present, sometimes with alcohol, sometimes without. Sometimes we'll have non-alcoholic beverages here. And just look at the reality of where our life is today, what's working, what's not working for all of us, for all of you. There is always something working really beautifully that is really cool, whether you are aware of it or not. And the ability to hopefully get present with that and to go to not to overuse the overused word, but gratitude, so important. But then also the moments that are really hard and difficult and scary and frightening and that can kind of make one feel sort of way off course or off balance and almost freaked out sometimes in life and even to depression. And so we're going to talk about all of that in this moment during this happy hour to just get raw, real, have fun, do some healing, some waking up, just talking about anything that's going on. So
all the good stuff.
life.
All the good stuff. Yeah, life. Yep.
Whew, yeah, and for those of you who follow me and have followed me, and whether part of the Love Happy Hour show or not in the past, a lot has gone on in my life. Oh my goodness! So we're going to get into all of that, and but yeah, talking about Mingo again, he'll get to know me just more than anything probably during this first podcast. This is cool. We were going to go live, but then we thought, well, wait, there may not be even anyone
Yeah, we weren't sure,
watching yet.
Who's on Facebook, if anybody knows. She's been quiet for a little bit, so we give you a little warm up here.
My husband would probably not say there's ever been a moment I was quiet, but nonetheless, yeah, we're taping this, and then we're recording it so that you can go back and listen to it whenever you want. And eventually, once we build or rebuild the audience, then we'll have it live, because I really want to bring back, not to overly age myself, but kind of that Adam Carolla, Dr. Drew thing, love lines back in the past, when anybody could just reach out and say, hey, here's what's going on. I need your help. We used to even play something in the past, in my last podcast, of Stump the Expert, and see if you could stump me. And but I'm here for you, here to love on you, help you, teach you how to love yourself, and how to have the best love that you can have in relationship and life and with life. Okay, so.
I guess my first question.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
How you got started, because you said you've been doing this for like 20-something years. 27, almost 28 years. Okay, it's a long time. So I'm
really
curious, like, what inspired it? How did it start? Was it something you always wanted to do, or was it just something that clicked and you're like, ooh, I think this is really what's for me?
Well, ever since I was little, I always wanted to understand love and to figure it out, because it was a kind of a very much a hardcore black-white yin-yang for me since I was little, with regard to love, either being attached to, like, the word I love you, or love being attached to peace and comfort and safety and joy, or the total polar opposite, right? And so I was always fascinated by love and the term love and the meaning of love, and then catapulted through life. And if you've read my book, Real Love Right Now, Barnes & Noble and Amazon. But no, second print just came out, new cover.
Ooh.
New endorsers. Thank you, Simon & Schuster. Literally, truly. But no, there's a lot. I didn't graduate high school. I was in foster homes, lived in shelters, have been homeless, experienced, welfare and Section 8 housing with my mom, when the rare times I actually spent time with her. But also had really amazing grandparents, just like loving, unconditionally, just supportive, just cool, good stuff. And I always thought I would go into psychology and would be a child psychologist and help kiddos. And then I took a different turn, met a really cool guy named Steve, my first husband, and ended up getting pregnant. And I was 19 years old, and the day I said, "Hey, I just found out I'm pregnant," he literally fell back. He was sitting on a bed and he fell back, and then he sat up and he looked at me and he said, "Will you marry me?" And I was like, "Whoa,
crazy! That's crazy."
Like I'm still processing. I'm 19 and pregnant, and this guy that I've been dating for just a short while. That I was falling in love with, but it was heavy. He's like saying, "Hey, will you marry me?" And I just went, "Okay, yeah, let's do this." So anyway, different turn, right? Didn't go into didn't finish high school, didn't go to college, didn't graduate college. Ended up marrying this guy. We realized we really didn't know each other very well. We had our baby. He's one of my best friends today. I love this man. That's really cool. My current husband is so sick of hearing how much I love my first husband. He's actually very secure and good sport. But and that's a whole other conversation we'll have in many different ways too, that you can go through nasty ugly. I mean, Steve and I went through two horrific custody battles. So I've been there, you guys. I mean, I will tell you, there are very few shoes that I have not walked in.
Yeah.
Why I also believe so much in the power, the healing power of love, of waking up, of growing up, why I teach what I do. So Steve and I hated each other's guts. We tried to tear each other's gizzards out, and now we have breakfasts and dinners together and hang with our son together, Alex, and we're kind of one big happy family.
Is good. That's great that you guys can heal that and still be, spend time together, and good for the kid too to be able to have both parents there and not have some weird animosity and be able to at least enjoy that together.
Well, Alex would say that actually sucked. There was a while he didn't, so his dad and I didn't really like each other for a very, very, very long time, right? We both had to grow up. We both had to do a lot of healing. And so poor Alex grew up he was one of those kids that mom and dad don't like each other. In fact, they hate each other. And it breaks my heart, right? And then when his dad and I finally had a day where we just looked at each other and said, let's stop this. I'm so sorry. We both apologized to each other. We both forgave each other.
Kind of a magical moment.
It was such a magical moment for both of us. And then when I brought it back to our son and said, hey, your dad and I totally had a makeup moment and we're totally good and we're like besties now, he's like, ugh.
Gross.
Yeah, truly gross as a teenager. And then all of a sudden, but
awesome.
Now he loves it. Now he appreciates it.
Well, you said he's 37?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes sense. He's also grown up. So
yes,
it's nice to be able to have that, And I could see at a younger age too, how I'd be like, I don't care. Girl's mom, don't tell me.
yeah. But no, I think he's learning a lot about it. And so married young, divorced young, 3 kids, 3 different fathers. No, I was going to say I won't say that word. Deeply loved all 3 men. Well, hopefully the last one is my current husband. But no, so here I was going on second relationship, serious relationship, going to do it differently this time, going to do it right this time. Dated a couple of years, we're in love, talked about getting married, and then bam, pregnant again. And I'm like, okay, this is cool, though. We know we're going to be together, just kind of, cart before the horse.
Yep.
And but then we were together a long time. So that's Andrew's dad.
Okay.
I'm sure he's really going to appreciate me sharing all of this.
Yeah, right.
But it makes sense. That's probably why he does what he does for a living as well. And is such a neat young man. And but no, so that was Brian. So Brian and I, so it just didn't work, right? It just didn't work. And I just went to him one day and I just said, hey, I think you are supposed to be with someone else, and I think I'm supposed to be with someone else. And at this time, I'd already started my business. It was really taking off. I had all these incredible marriages that I was putting together, and I was seeing this vibe and this bond that my clients were having that I didn't have.
Okay.
And I'm like, life is too short.
I mean, it's kind of a bummer, but also kind of awesome that you were able to notice that, because I think a lot of people just sort of stick it out just because.
Oh yeah.
Just because they're just like, I don't really know. I guess this is how it is.
Yeah.
It's just weird that people just stick with something that just doesn't work or isn't good for them.
Most do.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other conversation, and one of many we'll have around that one. And I'm sure we'll have people writing in and saying, hey, I'm in this situation that you guys talked about. But so we ended as friends.
Which is good. Always good.
Yeah. We ended as friends. We actually ended up being amazing co-parents. We were actually better apart than we were together.
Okay.
So we really did a great job with Andrew in that way. And then I ended up finding and introducing him to his wife.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And love her. Just love her. So, so there's that. And then I finally met Lance. I prayed about it. That's my current husband. I'm like, Lord, okay, I'm totally ready. Send the dude my way. And he did.
It's kind of crazy how that works most of the time. I mean, sometimes I feel like if it doesn't happen, that's the answer. You're not supposed to, you're not there yet.
Yes.
Or, if you pray for something and it doesn't come to you. I feel like that is the answer. You don't need
Very
it right
good.
now.
Excellent.
Yes.
So
cool that you did get a response and you found someone.
Yeah.
That's always, it's fun to experience that in life and sort of get validation that, when you say prayers and you say it to whatever you believe in, that it really brings something to you.
Yeah.
It's really kind of a cool experience because it's something you can really only know by getting it yourself. or having that experience yourself.
That's right.
So,
well, and if you can be present enough within yourself to even process what you are feeling, experiencing, and going through, rather than just kind of, I was coaching someone this morning, and she was just saying how, I just don't know why things aren't shifting, but I'm just really busy. I've been going here and here and here and here. And I'm like, well, there's part of that is your way of numbing out and protecting yourself from what you are feeling, but you don't want to feel, what you know, but you don't want to know. And now it's time to push through that. So we can go through life completely numb, present within ourselves, yet not present. That makes sense. Yeah. So then Lance and I met and fell in love, and we've been together for over 26 years.
Oh,
and
wow. That's nice. That's beautiful.
He's been a great stepdad. And
also
and we had Jack. And you met Jack.
Yep, Jack was great, man. Jake made the beat, Jack's a great kid.
He is.
I would love to, because I told him, I do music too. So if he's ever in town and he wants to come hang out at the studio, like, he had a bunch of questions. So I'd love to sit down with him and just show him some stuff. He likes you. Yeah. No, he's making some cool music too. He's a little unsure if it's good or not, but I think he's on the right path. I think he's doing some cool stuff.
Thank you. Well, our family's way into music. My mother used to be a professional singer. And
oh, okay. Yeah, you told me about that. Yep.
I think I have a pretty decent ear for good music.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we talked about this. It would be fun to kind of sample some of Jack's music, see what people like. It'd be fun to sample some of yours,
sure.
Right? I think that'd be so cool. Just bring some music into this.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So then anyway, but then it goes on, and then I ended up having my career. I actually was a model, which is super funny. I'm 5'4".
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yes.
All the models are usually super tall.
Yeah. I was kind of a little shrimp.
Yep.
But I was discovered by a Minneapolis agent, one of the top agencies here is Susan Wayman, which is pretty funny. And so I modeled professionally for a while, and then really was more into the makeup artistry side of it, instead of being on the face.
Yep.
And so then I went into makeup artistry, and then I apprenticed under some pretty big names. And then after that, I ended up becoming a teacher and a trainer and a national trainer and artist. How did I get into this whole thing? So to answer your question, I was always more fascinated about what was happening on the other side of the equation with people. So even with modeling and even the makeup, it was more so that I was noticing that here, you have all these really pretty people around you, men and women, and yet they were some of the loneliest, most unhappy people, and always comparing themselves to each other and finding their own flaws. And I'm like, no. Like, man, you're beautiful. Like, and you're not just beautiful physically, but like, I think you're really cool. I get to hang with you back here before the shoot, and you're funny and you're fun and you're deep and you're sweet. And like, that's what's beautiful. And so I kind of indirectly just started coaching.
Without knowing that's what you were doing? That's
totally, yeah. And then in time, ended up realizing that apparently I'm an intuitive. Not I'm like hardcore intuitive. Channel, if you believe in that stuff, but I, spirit stuff, and then this, my Lord, we're going to need 5 hours. But anyway, this is like such an introduction to me. So, spirits and ghosts and family members of past, and all these things are happening. And then I'm a Christian and I'm born again. And then that's not connecting for me with regard to the Bible and what the Bible says, and wrestling with that and praying around that. But then realizing that this thing that I was doing, this kind of coaching before knowing what it was and what I was doing, along with the intuition and the channeling piece, was massively shifting people's lives. So that's where my business started in my early 20s.
Okay, so it kind of just manifested itself?
Or God created the path, right? And the next thing I knew, I was doing it just as something that felt good and was fun and easy for me. And I wasn't charging, of course, for it. But people, all of a sudden the phone was starting to ring, and people were saying, so-and-so said you're really good. You helped them heal this. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm in my early 20s. What are they talking about?
Sure.
And but it really became a thing. And the next thing I knew, it was a business. And I started charging. And the work that I was doing that I now do today, whether it's matchmaking or healing individuals or marriages, and the 11 steps, we'll talk about my 11-step trademark process I've had for so many years, is really what I was doing back then. And so whether no matter what ailment you have in your life, regardless of what isn't working or where there's a lack of connection, peace, or healing, this whole process and program and blueprint that kind of intuitively, spiritually came to me is just something that I used back then and use today. And it ended up taking me and catapulting me into, a master's course and certification in spiritual psychology, addictions, and relationships. Ended up then getting called by the Today Show. I was doing press all over Minnesota, and then it went nationwide, and then all of a sudden globally in Australia, and the UK was reaching out, and Daily Mail, and then, so Today Show, Good Morning America, Times Square matching, Oprah Winfrey, a whole series with her on the healing power of love through this cool show that we did called Lovetown USA, that ended up winning some awards, which was really cool. And then a book with Simon & Schuster. And so it's been just this fast-track, spiritual, very rewarding, very difficult education that I wasn't prepared for, but grateful for. And so now here, what are we? We are, I stopped counting, was it 2009 or 2011, I don't remember. I hit 500 marriages that I'd put together.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And
wow.
Thousands of couples. So just people who are like, hey, I'm happy, cool. We don't need to get married. We just like each other. So thousands of those. And then lots of babies, and then healed lots of marriages. Continue. That's one of my deepest passions. And I think skill sets and gifts that I have is helping marriages that are just totally done, madly fall in love with each other and do it right for the first time. And individuals. I've helped people, honestly, and this could sound very controversial to say, I've helped people beat drug addiction because they say you're an addict for life. I have different thoughts and feelings on all of that. That's another conversation. But life in God has been really good in general. And I feel very fortunate and blessed, and just honored to be able to help so many people. And that's the whole focus now of bringing back the Love the Love Happy Hour podcast, so that I can be there for people, especially free. I'm actually really expensive. I'm being serious. I kept raising my prices because
when there's that much of a demand, I feel like you sort of have to.
Well, it was that because I could never do the therapy thing where I'm literally seeing 6-7 people a day.
Yeah.
I would just get too burnt out because I've also put so much of myself into it.
That's a lot too. I mean, having to the one-on-one, I feel like you have to do a pretty good job of not absorbing anything and sort of keeping your own space. So like a lot of people, many times a day, it would be draining, I would think.
You just, to do it right, you kind of can't help it. Yeah. Even though, many of my clients are therapists, right?
Okay.
That I'm helping heal them, coach them, and keep them on track. It's heavy. To do it right, it's heavy, deep work.
So what do you do to like keep yourself? You can't just sit in
a chair. Well, I'm going to be careful. Okay, go ahead.
So what do you do to keep yourself grounded? Like if you're doing all that stuff, do you have like a...
just kidding. Lots of tequila. Just joking. Not even funny. Okay, go ahead.
I'm just curious, do you have like a routine? Do you have a daily thing that you do, or do you just, have a little meditation moment? Like what's maybe a little bit of everything? I don't know.
Yeah, no, this is good. This is fun. And I love, you're doing great, by the way. Thank you. I love the questions you're asking because we will get really honest and deep and real and intimate, and you'll get to know me very well. So what do I do? God is my number one focus, right? And period, the end. Just God. And at a different time, we'll share my story with regard to my faith in the beginning and where it especially has been the last couple of years as a Christian. And that's even another conversation, Christian, rather than I just want to say I'm madly in love with Jesus. Like I'm a Jesus.
Okay, yeah.
I am a loving Jesus freak. But so Jesus, God, Holy Spirit, connecting within that, prayer, loving myself, listening to that inner voice that is also mine, and connecting with that, and really paying attention to when it's feeling off, right? Because I'm obviously very human, and so even though I do a lot of coaching and a lot of healing, and I help heal a lot of lives and change a lot of lives, I still wake up and will have an off morning. I'll still wake up and feel like actually almost like depressed. And I'm typically a really happy person naturally. And so instead of allowing that to just take over and think, oh crap, I'm having a really effing bad start to my day, it's getting centered, and this is something I really work on teaching my clients as well. Like, don't fight the discomfort. Thank it, love on it, and welcome it in, and ask it why it's there.
Okay.
Right? Why is it there? What is it? What am I not listening to, hearing, or seeing? Why are you showing up? It has a story to tell, and really, typically, it's coming from love, and it's something that's been abandoned. So I go there. I get really real and raw with my feelings, and that experience within, and then I go back to prayer again, and then I get up and I stretch, and then I go into my day, in doing the work that I do and that I love, and that's a lot of different stuff. But that's
I think that makes sense. Like, why? I mean, I could see how that could be. You don't dwell on it, but you also allow it to be there and focus and give it the space that it's obviously telling you something.
I won't fight it.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, I kind of like the fact that you don't necessarily make that your whole day. You confront it and say, yes, I see you're there.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And you stretch, and then you go and you get to work and you go do the stuff that you really enjoy. And it seems like you almost make peace with it.
You do, and but again, by acknowledging it.
Yeah, not like blocking it out or fighting it or refusing it.
Or really trying to numb it out. I'm kind of the opposite then in that sense. Yeah. And so it's really, if you've been a parent, it's like having a baby, and the baby is having an off day. It might have a stomach ache. It might, whatever it is, and it's crying. It needs to be held. You don't just ignore it and abandon it, or just constantly shove a bottle in its mouth. I mean, sometimes it needs it because it's hungry or a boob. But you look at it, you look into its eyes, you sit present with it, you connect it, you give it loving, warm energy, you hold it. Same thing with yourself.
Talk to it.
And you just let it. And if it still cries, that's okay. Let it cry, but hold it and love it. Exercise, I need to do more of. I sit so much.
Exercise is great.
Honest.
I mean, I know that for a fact because I've
huge.
had a long time where I did it for a long time, and then I did it for a long time.
Yeah.
And just even, it doesn't even matter what you do, any kind of exercise, there's something that it does just biochemically and like your spirit, like it, and you feel good because you went to the gym and you did something good for your body and good for yourself, and then the endorphins, like you just it's such a mood boost.
It is.
It's so helpful.
It is.
As much as you don't want to do it, like even on the days where I'm like, I don't want to do it, and you just go there in 20 minutes, 25 minutes, just lift something, run, I don't know, do anything.
No, you're right.
It's so good.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for the constant reminder. Or become a constant reminder.
Yeah.
I used to be super athletic. I mean, I was an athlete in high school, and
What'd you play?
Okay.
No sports.
What was I? That shows how long ago it was. I was in track and field. No, but I was a sprinter.
Okay.
So I was the fastest girl in my school until 7th grade. I beat all the boys. They couldn't stand it.
I'm sure they love that. Yeah,
until I didn't win again. I was really bad that way. No, but anyway, so I was, relay and all of that. But loved working out, and then I got really into. I know how it all goes, and I got kind of lazy and kind of comfortable, and but I'm slowly, like last night I was on the treadmill with Lance. We were working out together, and I was
there you go,
weights and moving my body.
Or even some yoga, man.
That stuff's good too. We should get some yoga instructors in here. That'd be kind of
cool.
fun. We do
get their perspective
and do yoga while we're doing the podcast.
Oh, that'd be interesting,
right?
I like that idea. That's kind of a weird one,
right?
That's kind of cool. I like that.
With our cocktails.
Yep. That could be a thing. You could like once a month, have a little yoga cocktail session.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
I swear that's got to be a thing.
If not, we'll make it one.
Yeah.
But I would say, too, the final thing that I do, again, I'm just trying to think of things that I can share with you and show you and teach you, is, again, going back to always not abandoning yourself at all, right? So even though we might say, okay, well, working out, didn't work out, haven't worked out, got sort of lazy. Okay, wow, use the word lazy. Really? Have I been lazy? Yeah, no. But then why did I use the word lazy? Let's get into that. Okay, lazy with my body. Well, let's break that down more. What does that really mean? Where is that coming from? Does it mean that there needs to be more attention and more love and given, more presence given to myself and to the physicality, not for superficial reasons, but for health reasons, for spiritual reasons. So it's like we're constantly, and what I do is constantly in kind of a cool space and zone
Maybe like recontextualize it a little bit.
Constantly present. Yeah. Like just getting present.
Or just break it down, because I think sometimes like it's a good way to put it. Like you'll use a word and it's a very surface level word.
There you go.
But a lot of people just go with the surface level and like, oh, I'm just lazy. I suck. You
Yeah.
know? But really it's maybe not that you suck. It's maybe there's a lot of stuff under just that word lazy. Yeah.
Always. And even this, I suck. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's dissect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why and how, and maybe you do, and that's okay. And let's love
right.
the suck part. I don't know. Yeah.
Yep. No,
So,
I think that's a great way to break that down. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people just sort of go with it and don't even consider what they're thinking about themselves, you know?
most don't.
Yeah.
Most people are absolutely disconnected on a conveyor belt, numb, other than when they're feeling angry,
Yep.
really sad, reactive, in shock.
Well,
That's when
those
they have
moments you can't. They're like your emotions sort of override, and they just like
That's
force
right.
you to pay attention.
It's this spontaneous love moment when your whole psyche, your being, your spirit, your soul is just saying, you're not present, you're not listening to me, you're not taking care of me. So that shows up, as we know, in many different ways. And I'm trying to think of what else I was going to. Oh, yeah. So with all of this, what I'm doing with myself, I do in my own marriage, I do with my kids, as a mother, as a friend, as a sister, a matchmaker, a coach, a healer, an intuitive. It's everything that I do is focused on continuing as a teacher, continuing to be a student. Continuing to and seeking to learn as much as I can so that I can continue to grow and heal, but then bringing that back to others and really, again, getting back to the word love. I believe in the power of love. That is the most powerful healing energy that there is, and it's taking it within a very stuck, sad, superficial, lost society with a lot of trauma. That's the big, trauma is a big word. Narcissism is the big word. Narcissistic abuse is the big word. They're all real things, but then those even keep us stuck if we just stay stuck in what those are and what they're about and how
label a little bit.
Yeah, top 5, top 10, this, that.
Yeah.
Let's go deeper, so that we can shake it all up and we as humanity can start to heal for real and really have love. And I believe in that. And so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
I mean, that helps any little bit, and I feel like love, its energy sort of has exponential power in the sense of any sort of lower emotion. So like someone giving a little bit of love will sort of maybe not overpower, but it has the energy to sort of override a whole bunch of other stuff just from one person being kind.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you said the word kind because, and this is another thing, we'll have to get my husband on here sometime. That should be quite interesting. We were at one of his not favorite things about me as his wife is that if we are ever in a space or an area where there are men or people fighting, I don't care how tall or big they are, and I'm just little pipsqueak over here.
Yep.
I will get in there like I am 6'8" and 275, 300 pounds, and I will just break those fights up. And he's just said, Kailen, I'm waiting for the moment you get knocked out cold.
Yeah.
But every single time, and I am learning more boundaries, better boundaries. I guess I have to process more of that one. But the last time it was at the State Fair last year, and we were leaving, and sure enough, I hear rah 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 rah, and I see two young men, and they're probably their 20s, and they are going at it. It broke my heart.
Yeah.
All these people are like, yeah. And
I'm sure they got their phones out.
Oh, yeah, right? And I literally went right into the middle of them, yelling, running and yelling, just be kind.
Yeah.
Just be kind. Just be kind to one another. Be kind to one another. You don't know what he's feeling. You don't know what he's feeling. My husband's watching this unfold. He's like, how this works every time, I have no idea, Kailen. Like, people would think you're nuts. And they stop. And I'm not, actually, it happened twice last year and last summer, where it went from just this crazy, combative, fighting, I'm going to kill you, blah, blah, to, hey, man, I'm sorry, shaking hands.
Oh, wow.
One in Wayzata, hugging it out.
Yeah. That's kind of...
Yeah, I'm like, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Your love is in all of us.
Oh, yeah.
We need to see it in one another and inspire it in one another,
Well, so maybe your intervention, you offering that space almost, like you put the energy into that space and just tell them to be kind. And it's not like you're just saying it, you mean it.
Oh.
And there's a difference between just saying it to people that say, be nice, or you go in there, say, be kind,
Yes.
and it's like breaking your heart. You say it.
Yes.
That has more power than someone just repeating a line.
Yeah.
So I think what probably happens is you hit them at their core, at their heart somewhere, and they're like, oh, wow.
Amen.
Maybe
I think
I shouldn't. And they probably don't consider what the other person's going through because they're mad.
Yeah.
Anger takes over, and they're just like, well, I'm going to, just going to fight them.
Yeah. No. So I was just like,
Yeah.
my husband's like, I'm not talking to you for the rest of the car ride. I'm like, that's okay.
Just be kind.
Yeah. Just be kind, honey. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So this is normally when we would do like a commercial break, but we don't have any people to promote right now.
Oh, no. Well, we're promoting kindness. It's
quick.
everywhere.
That was good. Amen. Hallelujah to that. So brought to you by Love. Yes. Promoting kindness wherever we go.
Doom, doom, doom.
Mm-hmm. Bum, bum, ba, bum, bum. Okay. So what else?
So I guess I'm curious, what would you say is, maybe in general, or maybe there's a good one, but like number one block to love? And I don't know if maybe, love is kind of a broad term for a lot of stuff, but.
Mm-hmm. That's so interesting it's interesting that you said the latter part, and I'll answer your question in a second. Mm-hmm. I was walking I was in this little store today for a second, and I was talking to the owner, and he's like, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I teach love. And he's like, what does that mean? And I said, what, love? Or that I teach love? Or he's like, love? And I'm like, love. Like, what, love. And and then I don't know his voice. So he's like, oh.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Yeah,
I
that.
get it.
Now I totally get it. Okay. No, what is the number one block? I think, honestly, it is going back to what we've been talking about. It is that we either have yet to meet ourselves, to really know ourselves, our true self, and then therefore to really genuinely love ourselves, right? So then therefore coming from our highest self, then when we're connecting in love or for love. And so if we are these lost beings and vessels that are holding and carrying a lot of fear and pain and trauma, because there's no way to navigate and to get through this world and experience as a human being without having some form of it, we are just kind of indirectly numbed out and kind of energetically bouncing that energy off of one another. And so then and that's what's happening, right? It's just, it's trauma moments, it's pain moments, it's healing moments, starving to be seen and to heal. And just as I was saying, when I get out of bed, if I feel off, I immediately look at it. Where are you coming from?
Yeah.
So we have all of these relationships or people going into relationships, not knowing that about themselves, not understanding that about themselves, not having healed it, not working on healing it, even in the proper way. Not all therapy is great and works.
Yeah,
you can see a therapist for 10, 20, 30 years.
And you never get better.
You kind of never get better. So that's the number one block, is that most people don't know who they really are. They haven't learned how to love themselves. They haven't learned who they are in their highest sense of self, and so therefore they're showing up really inside out and backwards, and they're bouncing off of each other, and they're meeting really dense energy with one another, and then instead of recognizing their part, they only recognize the other side's part, and then they're turned off, and then they think it's the wrong person.
Oh, okay.
And most often it's not the wrong person, it's the wrong you.
Yep.
You just haven't met you.
Just meeting them with a fake version of yourself, kind of.
And you don't even know that either.
Yeah.
You just know that you're not super happy and fulfilled. And you think that if you just meet the right person, that will change. And actually, again, the right person is you. And
that is true, because I feel like when you find yourself, then the right person does show up. I feel like it's usually not the other way around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you went to the term right. Yes, the correct. Yes. Yes, you are right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. And that's how my business started. So that was that whole thing that I said, a while back, that I was doing this thing, didn't know what it was, but it was working. I was indirectly introducing everyone to themselves, teaching them how to really see themselves, understand themselves, value themselves, learn how to set healthy boundaries for themselves. The whole thing of we teach people how to treat us, that's all an energy thing. That's true. And then the next thing you know, whatever ailment you have in your life, whether I had clients that were married and I'd never met their partner or spouse, and yet at the same time, I would hear reports that their marriages were indirectly healing and improving just because of the work my client and I were doing together. And the same thing with singles. And so when I had singles and I did a lot of work with them and introduced them to themselves, and they fell in love with themselves, and then I had two people that loved themselves and had done a lot of healing meet, and then they have chemistry, bam, it's awesome. Yeah.
So what part do you think fear would play in that? Because I also feel like there's a lot of fear involved in being willing to like open up, be an open, loving person. Like maybe kind of what you want and you know yourself a little bit, but you're also like afraid to express it or to share that for whatever reason. Maybe it's because you don't want to get shut down or it's uncomfortable, because I feel like in my experience, I've had some of that. Or sometimes it was uncomfortable to share or to be loving because of whatever reason. It just feels not natural or, maybe scary in a sense.
And so again, if this was a coaching session, I would then take each one of those and dissect each thing that you said lovingly and find out why you said it, where you believe it comes from, the other messages that are showing up that are telling you other places and spaces and experiences that each one of those are coming from, and then meeting each one of them with gentleness, love, with grace. Shame is a massive piece. So you were talking about fear.
Yeah.
I think more than anything, at the root of what shows up as fear or control or all sorts of things really comes from shame. But then if you go deeper, what is shame? Well, shame is that it's feeling unloved and being unloved, right? And not identifying with love. And then it goes deeper than that. And so, again, we have all this stuff. It's always funny when I talk to especially singles, and they'll say, well, I'm just really looking for someone that doesn't have any baggage.
Okay, well, you think you're in the wrong planet. 'Cause like everyone's got a little bit of something going on.
Everybody's got baggage. Yep. And I'll say, well, it's not baggage, it's their luggage. It's their cool luggage. They're on a trip.
Yeah.
We're on a trip.
I mean, I guess that's a good way to put it too. This is definitely a trip.
And we've been traveling.
Yep.
And we will accumulate new luggage and different luggage, and some of our luggage is beat up, but it's still kind of cool and tattered. It's the kind of you still want to, even if it doesn't have wheels, you'll still hold it and carry it because it's just chill.
Yep.
And retro. So it's not looking at anything like baggage. It's what do you have in your luggage, and when you unpack, that's the other thing too. Everyone has what you call baggage, but we call it luggage. And when you get together with somebody and you have all the chemistry and everything seems magical and beautiful and right, at some point you have to say, okay, it's a whole different I'll show you mine and you show me yours type of deal. We are looking in each other's luggage. So I'm going to open my luggage and I'm going to show you what I have in there. And I'm going to share it with you. And we're going to now energetically, logically, reasonably, and in a loving way see if our luggage is compatible, truly. And what luggage can I help you unpack that you have had stuck in piles and that now you feel like you might be able to safely unpack with me or remove, declutter, all sorts of things. So how do we get on the whole thing of luggage? And
we were talking about fear and shame and, and how everyone's kind of got, and then you brought up, everyone's got a little bit of baggage. But,
so it's just... yes. So when you get to a point of where you say to yourself, I have no baggage. I don't even have any luggage. Yeah. That's actually kind of sad and lonely. Yeah. Yet you do. Yeah. And if you don't now, you will accumulate some by tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're alive.
Yep.
Right. And so what do we do with it? Once again, how do we unpack it? How are we wearing it? Do we want to wear it? Do we want to toss it? Do we want to donate it? We're fascinating. Humans are fascinating. Love is fascinating. And we make it so hard when it's meant to be just so easy. And it can be so easy and so fun and juicy.
I just think it's because there's so much. It almost feels like to me that love is like analogous to light. And then if you run light through stuff, it separates in a bunch of colors.
Yes.
So love is like the only source, and you get all these humans and all these different experiences, and love just bifurcates. It just separates into all these different things, and it's like it's like a bit of the energy, but it's not all of it. And then everyone gets
that's
confused, and
good.
they're like, "Oh, I'm not in love. I'm angry. I'm this." But
Yeah.
you are angry because you love. You know, like I feel
Ooh,
like
that's deep.
yeah,
That is okay. Do you know how real that is? What
Yeah.
you just said and how deep that is?
yeah, yeah,
That is right.
yeah,
Right? Even at war.
Yeah, yeah.
Even with prejudice, with all the things that are out there, from pride to gay pride to it's all
I feel like you
we're
couldn't get
starving for love.
Yeah, yeah.
We're starving and because we are love. We were
Yeah.
created from and by love. And so when that gets messed up
Yeah.
and we get disconnected or we think or feel we're disconnected from love, we start looking at each other and getting angry at each other, and we start acting out and we start
But you
acting
do it because
ugly
you
to one
love.
another.
You're like, come on,
because
man.
you freaking love.
If you didn't love, you wouldn't care. You
Amen.
just
There you go.
you just sit
Ooh.
like a potato and rot away.
Good. Yep, a rotting potato.
Yep. Don't be that.
We'll still send love to the rotting potato,
Yeah,
but
we'll give it
because
some
it can
water.
be. You know what happens? It sprouts, and
Oh,
then
there
you can
you go.
put it in the dirt.
Yep, let it grow.
New
Maybe
potato.
it just needs to rest and marinate a little bit.
Yep. That was a great analogy.
Yeah.
Think of potatoes when you think of love and growth. Yes. Okay. What else? It's going to be fun when we have when we go live and then we start. By the way, if you have any questions, thoughts for me with regard to yourself, anything with regard to love, life, parenting. I mean, I'm not kidding. Or even going back to Stump the Expert, shoot them our way. We have to sell. Where are we sending that to? And we're going to answer them live. Yeah, go
I mean,
ahead.
we could send it to the email that I have, which would be producer at. Let's see, what is it?
Was it producer at KailenRosenberg.com?
I think so. Yeah. Let me just make sure before I start saying
yeah.
stuff and
And it's not right.
Spamming the wrong email.
But see how real this is? It's so funny. Back in the day, everything had to be absolutely perfect and everything was edited. It's like, no, let's keep it real.
But life is not like that. I feel like
No,
life
it is not.
Life is organic and it just does what it does, and that's how it should be.
I mean, we can be prepared to and be.
Yeah, we can do both. You can be prepared. You can be a little. Hold on, let me find it here.
Yeah.
Let me make sure this is right.
So did we get that set up? Producer at KailenRosenberg.com.
Let me make sure that's. Yep. So producer at KailenRosenberg.com.
Yes.
Should I spell it?
So yeah, So producer at.
Yep.
KailenRosenberg.com. Jewish, not German. Yeah.
Yep. So you can send them there.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing, you guys. Being a born again Jewish loving Christian. Ooh, we just gotta hear that feedback. Ooh.
Oh, did you get some?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just. Oh, I bet you it's my phone. Here,
Okay.
let me move it. Does that help?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
It was just in your headphones.
Being married to a Jewish man, have learned so much, made me stronger as a Christian, made me understand, love, and respect the Jewish faith and tradition. But I have noticed and recognized some interesting stuff when it comes to, that's a whole other conversation. We'll get into it at a different time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The variety is.
The varieties, like a rainbow.
Yep.
Like
a little bit
raindrops.
of everything. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe just a random question.
Yeah.
Have there been any moments that have been particularly difficult in this business or this journey?
Ugh.
Or have there been too many? Or is there one you can think of that is the peak?
There haven't been too many, praise God. I have been really blessed and really fortunate in this career, right? Because I'm doing what I love. I'm doing what I'm really naturally good at, right?
Yeah.
So it's easy for me to help people and to see people heal and have joy and have amazing experiences with love they've never had. There's nothing more rewarding than that. I'm not joking. But within that, you are sometimes working with really broken people.
Yeah.
And with that brokenness that I have deep compassion and understanding for or around, can come attack, right?
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I think this is maybe one of the things that has happened since the last podcast. I almost wonder if it was one of the reasons I went a little into hiatus a bit. Well, no, would have talked about it. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. David and Goliath. And so
like if they throw
but I had my slingshot and I had my rock.
Yep.
I had my rock. I kept shooting my rocks.
Yep. That's wild.
Man, so yes, that has been the hardest thing. Otherwise, it's been just a glorious trip, just the most amazing experiences and clients and, you know, just things that I never dreamed I would experience or people that I used to watch in movies or TV and then hang with them and their kids and, you know, help heal their marriages. And, I'm just very blessed, very fortunate.
Any particular famous people or stars that you were super excited to meet that you didn't think you would?
Oh, man. Even and through my clients who also are stars. So I have to be careful because many are confidential. I think obviously I didn't coach Oprah, but Oprah selected me out of over 4,000 people she had, network had interviewed. That was a huge honor.
Yeah.
Took over a year and 11 meetings. It was super cool. Really meeting her, spending time with her, getting to know her was really amazing and magical and lovely.
Yeah.
When the Kardashians were huge, meeting Kim and hanging out with her in her house and, where she and Kanye lived at the time. And, spending some time helping a family member was really an honor. And we filmed that. And then I work in very close. So these are things that have been shared in the public eye. I was on E! and E! News and for working with, the Stewarts and the Hamilton family, Rod Stewart's family and kids and really good, amazing people, right? Just really good people, good hearts, just have their stuff and trying to figure it out. And I think that's, and then through that meeting and spending time and sitting down with Elton John and, was neat. And actually, there are so many, there are just so many, but you get to see, even if you're into spirituality, if you're familiar with, Course in Miracles or Marianne Williamson.
I've done the Course in Miracles.
You did?
Yep.
Okay, so Marianne's a very dear friend of mine.
Did it like to a T.
Yeah.
For the whole full year.
This makes sense based on how your energy and your speaking.
Yeah.
So, being able to call her a friend and just loving on her and having her love me back as a friend. It just, so many, just really, It's but again, that going back to love, it's just, we're all here for the same reason. We all want the same thing. We all have our stuff. We all have healing we can do.
Yeah.
And just making sure that we're not edifying the wrong things. And stay tough and strong in the truth.
That's a hard one to do because I feel like a lot of people sort of sacrifice that just for, I don't know, money, an image, or just, I don't know, so many things.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like people will just throw that
Sell
away
their soul. I've had the opportunity. No way.
Nope, I would never do it.
Nope, good.
There's nothing I can be given that I don't already have. So.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, see? Yes. It's actually quite simple and quite good. Yes. Yeah. So I'd say that was the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because otherwise, and I think as I've gotten older too, less stumps me. But when I was younger and less experienced and, before I ended up then, I'd said I didn't graduate high school, ended up quitting a few months before graduation. That's a whole other conversation.
Not that you really need school, but, I think you do and you don't, but I feel like there's a lot more weight put on it than is necessary. I mean, you can learn a lot of stuff without like a very organized class schedule, On my mother's side of the family, my grandparents, the ones who raised me, I mean, education was huge. Yeah.
We have some Ivy League grads in our family.
Sure.
So I was raised with that and I was proud of that. And so it was even a bigger deal for me. And that goes, I carried shame for a long time about quitting high school. Okay. Actually, I carried shame around it until a few years ago.
Okay.
I mean, seriously.
Wow.
A sadness.
Yeah.
And shame
just
and sadness. Just that
you didn't complete it, or it was like you failed at it, or what?
I saw it as both, right? Okay. Because schooling, education, learning, teaching means so much to me.
Yeah.
But I ended up in my 30s researching and finding a accredited high school online.
Okay.
And ended up and I didn't want my GED.
Yep.
So I ended up getting my high school diploma online.
Yep.
And then I ended up getting grandfathered into a master's program.
Okay.
And therefore ended up then with so it was graduate training with graduate students. But because I didn't, I hadn't finished high school. Well, I had then by then, but I hadn't finished college. I didn't have a 4-year degree. I didn't have my undergrad.
Yep.
I ended up getting a certification. So that's when I ended up getting a master's or certification as a certified master.
Okay.
Life, love, and relationships coach.
Yeah.
With an emphasis in addiction. Mm-hmm. I gobbled that stuff up.
Oh, I'm sure.
It can. We all have different gifts and natural gifts, right? What I do is that something that I could have learned from a textbook of any sort, even at Harvard? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
That I just spiritually, intuitively know. But I do have deep respect and great respect for those who have been formally educated, and I starve for education and love it. And
I think it's just it's for whoever wants it, I guess.
Yes, it's.
I don't think it's like a requirement to be a good, smart person or to be successful.
Oh gosh, no.
But I think people who need it and use it and make use of it,
yes,
it's definitely for them. But I think there's a lot of people that just go and do it because they're supposed to, and it's like, well, maybe that was a waste of time. Maybe it was a waste of money. Maybe you would have learned more just working at a Burger King. I don't know. Like different life experiences. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Well, no matter what, life teaches us the most, right?
That is true.
Yes, it just does. Mm-hmm. And it's good, especially when you pay attention and you actually learn.
Sometimes you got to get beat in the head a bunch with the same thing until you learn it.
Yeah, and hopefully you do.
And it'll keep punching the face until you figure it out.
It does. Yep. It does not. People, there's no such thing as abandoning things and them just going away and brushing them under the rug for you people who don't like to do that.
Yeah, right.
Or who like to do that.
It'll find its way through.
It will. Mm-hmm.
It'll find you.
Which is its way of loving you, even though you can't stand it. It's going, whatever you don't fix, heal, serve, or recognize and honor and listen to and love on, it's going to keep coming back, and it's going to come back through other people. It's going to come back through different jobs and employment. It's going to come back through your clients. That's a whole other thing. It's like, okay, what was the lesson for me? Like, why did that thing happen? When I think about the goodness of Jesus. And most of my clients they're ultra wealthy, right? Yeah. They're well known, they're celebrities, they're Olympic athletes, they're well known politicians. These are the people that I coach and I work with. And but yet at the same time, also people that I'll do pro bono work with people that really want healing and want work in their lives and in their families and with their kids, and they can't afford. And I'll just be like, hey, if you're willing to do the work, I'm willing to love on you and help you heal. Mm-hmm. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's just us and it's what's within us.
So the moral of the story is it's not about money. You can have it anywhere.
You can have pain anywhere and you can have love anywhere.
Yes.
It does not affect the truth and the reality of the experience of pure love.
Yeah.
It just does not. That's a whole other thing. Oh my gosh, women needing the guy to make a certain amount of money to be happy. Nope.
Yeah, I know.
Nope. It's not what it's about, ladies. Mm-mm. Sorry. Okay.
Well, I think...
are we about good?
I think we should wrap it up with that. I think that's a good way to kind of end it.
Okay. It's not all about money.
Nope.
No, it's just about love.
Yes.
Here we go.
The Love Happy Hour podcast, everybody.
With me, Kailen Rosenberg, and Mingo.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers.
Cheers.